Hello, Jordan.
What's up, Michael?
Brother, we missed the first episode of 2026. We might have done that last year, too.
Might be a new thing we're doing, bro.
And then we went on a 51-week streak last year.
That's what it's going to be this year. Maybe we'll bump in an extra once we make it 52.
That would be amazing.
Dude, I'm getting sick. I can feel it.
You're about to get again?
I can feel it. It's coming on again, dude.
Well, your family got crushed last week, and you kind of escaped it. And now you're kind of getting it? Is that what's happening?
They were all throwing up. Like, it was crazy. They were all throwing up. But I never had that, which is crazy. I didn't throw up at all. But, like, I don't know. Crazy cough. Yeah, it's coming on. I can feel it. It's not good.
Dude, and yeah, because we had to reschedule. We missed the podcast last week. I also had some kind of, I don't even know, the plague.
You had
literally
the plague.
The East Coast plague. The day after Christmas, we started feeling it, and it lasted for like 10, 11, 12 days. I'm still hacking up green stuff. Just disgusting.
Well, how you doing otherwise? You feeling better now?
Yeah, I'm on the mend for sure.
Good.
Yeah. I hope you don't end up getting crushed too hard.
2026, baby. Let's go.
Brother, are you familiar with the process of purchasing license tabs for your car?
A license tab?
You know, the little sticker on the back, registration. You gotta pay the state a fee every year, and then you put the new sticker on the back of the plate.
Am I familiar with No, I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I've done it, but I couldn't tell you how to do it.
I got a letter from the state of Minnesota to pay for the tabs for my vehicle, $700. And I had never seen anything like this before, and I started looking into it. In Minnesota, they charge you this annual fee based on the value of your vehicle.
No way.
So like in a lot of states, Texas, for example, you pay a flat rate. I think it's $80.
Okay. Regardless of your... It's like property tax, but for your car?
Exactly. And it's
crazy.
Not, and you might be thinking, well, like people who have nicer cars should have to pay more on it. I disagree, for one. But two, had a kid this past year, wanted to get a good,
you got a Ferrari
safe,
either.
Yeah, I know. Got an SUV, like a nice, safe family car. Bought it new. I've bought used my whole life. It's like I don't want anything to happen. I just want like a good, safe car. Spent a little more than I have in the past. I'm historically more frugal on stuff like that. And then I see this come in the mail. I'm just pissed. And this sent me down a rabbit hole because I was like, how in a state like Texas where they have zero state income tax, how are they also like not gouging people on something like this and making up for it? Because in my brain, the way I think about state tax revenue across the United States is the states who have lower state income tax rates or zero state income tax rates, Texas, Florida, Nevada, a handful of them, they have to be making it up somewhere else. Property taxes, sales taxes, like in my mind, state tax revenue per resident of the state has to be pretty equal across the country. That was just like this assumption that I've always carried that I never really thought about. It sent me down a rabbit hole. I'm going to bust out some numbers because it's not true. And with all this, you've seen the fraud stuff, the Nick Shirley, Minnesota fraud stuff going on.
Dude, it's crazy.
When I cut the state a check and my property tax thing came in and that went up 12% year over year, which is like, why is that going up 12%? Every time I cut a check, I'm like, if this were going to services that I thought were genuinely helping people, I'd be happy to pay a higher tax rate. But the fact that so much of it is going into this like vacuum of fraud makes me more and more furious and makes me pay attention to these things more. Layer that with the fact that, I don't know if you remember, after my initial coaching Gary stint from 2014 to 2016, and then you came on, I was going to move to Florida after that because I just love the sun.
You're going to move to Miami, yeah.
I've talked about it 100 times, like love the UV, love the weather, love the beach. And now I'm like, okay, so I'm in this state by my choosing where I chose to live because family and it's still the benefits and enjoying being close to family and spending time with my family still justifies it. However, after running these numbers, like,
However,
and all else equal, I'd rather be in a state that has better weather. Like that's just always been a thing. But now, so I busted this out. Did you know when you think of New York, you think higher taxes, right?
yeah, of course.
Minnesota has significantly higher income taxes than New York.
No way.
So here's why I thought that they were similar. Because the top state tax rate in Minnesota is 10%, and the top state tax rate in New York is 10.9%. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, similar state tax rates. To hit the 10.9% in New York, you need to earn over $25 million per year
Shut up.
to get
Really?
taxed at 10.9%. To get taxed at 10% in Minnesota, 200,000.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
Crazy. So then I'm like, okay. I pulled Texas, Florida, because you're in Texas, New York, Minnesota. These are all like states that are familiar to us. And I looked up the populations of the states and then the total tax revenue per year, assuming that the amount that the government collects is going to be relatively equal on a per capita basis because the benefit that each person needs, roads, firefighters, police, schools, etc., are going to be relatively equal. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of variance, but relatively equal. The Minnesota state government collects 3 times as much money per person as Texas and Florida.
Dude, what the fuck?
Minnesota's like $7,000 per person on average. Texas and Florida are right around 2,500. New York's like 5,500.
That is crazy.
Insane.
Is there a reason for that? Like,
I think because it's all being stolen. Because the benefit as a citizen, like I'm not receiving more benefit from my state than you are from your state. Than
right?
I spent the whole winter of 2021. Spent 5 months in Florida. Like I've spent a lot of time down there. Seems incredible.
I just can't imagine what the justification is for that.
Yeah, I'm not going to go down conspiracy land. I'll just stick to facts here and say I don't know. All I know is that this state is fundamentally different than it was 20 years ago when I was growing up here, or 30 years ago. And the combination of cold, terrible weather, like what are we paying? What are we getting to pay for? Culture, like shifts in culture. And that's
The
not like
fraud
a red
stuff is crazy.
That's not a red state, blue state thing, by the way, either, because I love the culture in New York. Like every time I'm in New York, we absolutely love it. My family has a great time there.
New York is the best city in the world.
And even outside of the city, other parts of New York I really like.
Yeah.
This state has just gone. I'm sorry. I think I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do.
You gonna go to Florida? You gonna talk to your family? You guys gonna go to Florida?
I'm on a weekly basis chirping my family about why we live here.
Yeah, the fraud stuff is crazy, dude. Like I'm not. I don't claim to be the most educated on it. I try and get my news from the most unbiased sources possible. So I try and look at both sides, but then I follow a fair few that are like right down the middle here. Let's just look at the facts. It's pretty wild. It's pretty fucking crazy. And it appears that this is leading into looking into other states like Ohio. But I'm sure like this is happening elsewhere too. But like it looks like there are other states where fraud like this is just rampant. And it's obviously fraud happens everywhere. But like this is to the tune of for like hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. It's crazy.
Crazy.
And it can't be something that like no one knew about. Like this is deliberate. This is known. This is like swept under the rug.
You would imagine, yeah.
There's no way this was a mistake.
Yeah, people within the government were complicit.
Completely aware. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially looking at the thing that really jarred me with it was looking at some of these places that were recipients of this money were also some of the largest donors to various campaigns.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And these places shouldn't be donating to campaigns.
Correct.
Like these are businesses that have no business donating to political campaigns, period. Never mind to the tune of millions and millions of dollars.
Correct.
It's crazy that, it's mind blowing.
Insane. It's just, and then I don't know what to do about it as an individual. Meaning like, what can I do to help fix this problem?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know what I have to say is I think the best thing that I've seen a private citizen do is I believe his name is Nick Shirley, the guy who's like this independent journalist who's just like, he's on his own dime going out and researching this and risking his own life.
Asking questions.
Yeah, just doing like really what journalism was meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that like just bringing it to light. Mm-hmm. And okay, then I don't know. I don't know what the answer is subsequently other than like voting. But then again, like what does our vote really do at this point, you know?
Yeah.
It's just playing a game at this point.
Yeah.
But I was just objectively incredibly impressed with that independent journalism.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray that him and I heard him giving an interview being like, his whole family is getting death threats. His sister, his father, like calling his house, like being doxxed. It's like, it's crazy. He's just doing independent journalism.
Really impressive work by him, but also infuriating outcome here.
Well, I know you like the beach, so you're probably not coming to Texas, but
yeah, I'll come visit.
Not before I come visit. March.
That's right. That's
Minnesota.
right.
Get
Got
ready.
some good mentorship plans here.
Oh, yeah.
Some really good content we're going to be filming, some good videos, new course. It's going to be sweet. And just hang out, you know? Take you to the Quality Leering Center. We'll go. Bro, peptides are crazy. Peptides are crazy.
Yeah.
You and I had a nice 20, 30-minute conversation about this the other day. We don't need to get into it in detail, primarily because neither of us are experts. But I've seen some transformations firsthand and some of the benefits of these various peptides. And I called Jordan and was like, dude, tell me everything you know about peptides. I've had my head in the sand, but I think it's time. And within 24 to 48 hours, I'm now in like, all right, I need more long-term data before I would ever do something myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Especially with all like the GH stuff.
Yeah.
The, what's the name? Melon, something melon? Tesamorelin, yeah. With those. But
which is FDA approved for those with HIV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just wild. I don't even have a lot to say on these other than my head has been in the sand and it no longer is. And my high level thesis is still, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. As like a philosophical take on it, but some of these results are insane.
Yeah, dude, it's real. I mean, I'm not an expert at all, like whatsoever, but I think it's funny. I think a lot of people are taking them and they're not disclosing it, and they're pulling the natty card. Yeah, I haven't taken any steroids, but like they're definitely taking a lot of peptides, and it's like they can completely transform your body. And I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm also not saying it's unhealthy. I don't know. But like it's definitely not natty. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's it's funny. Some people ask me. I'd say the vast majority of the response to me talking about me being on a GLP-1 is very positive, overwhelmingly positive. But I get a small number of people being like, "Why do you talk about it? Like you're promoting people to be on it who shouldn't be." And I'm like, "No. First and foremost, I'm not. I'm always saying you should talk to your medical provider, get that opinion, second opinions, third opinions. Like I always say it's not a decision you should take lightly. Da, da, da. But I always say." I'm one of the few people who are being very open and honest and say I'm on it. Imagine, would you rather me be on it and lie
Yeah.
and say I'm not on it?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what a lot of them are doing.
Yeah.
And then that sets up a whole different set of circumstances and false beliefs. And there are I personally I think it would be better to be on it and tell the truth and say, hey, just so you know, I'm taking this and this is what I'm experiencing and blah blah blah, rather than pretending I'm not on it and just. So I don't know, but I think especially in the fitness industry where so many people's incomes are, at least in their mind, which I don't know if I don't think it's necessarily true, but many fitness influencers' incomes are, they believe it's dependent on how they look. And obviously their income can be influenced by how they look for sure. And so if they think that they're going to make more money based on looking a certain way, then you better believe they're going to be taking shit to change how they look. And then also recommending their clients do that so they can have more testimonials and to get more people to sign up with them. But they might not be disclosing to the general public what they're on, which can then be massively influenced. You can get these same results. Just look at me. And so I don't know. I think it would be way better for people to be open and honest about what they're taking, so at least people have a better understanding of what's realistically feasible. And I think a lot of the stuff people hear about peptides, which again, I'm not an expert on it at all, but it's often framed as, it's like it's natural within your body, and like it almost makes it appear as though it's not going to make that big of a difference. But like, no, they can make a huge fucking difference in your physique and your performance. Like even something like BPC-157 is not allowed by the Athletic Commission, which is mostly for repair. Oh. But it's like athletes are not allowed to use it because for any number of reasons. But if an athlete's caught using it, they face I believe a suspension of a long period of time. Oh, it's a huge advantage to be able to recover from an ACL tear, like in 6 weeks as opposed to a full year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a massive advantage. Yeah,
yeah, and this has been happening for decades, just with steroids prior to peptides, with all of these. Fitness personalities. They weren't called influencers back then, but they were on the cover of Men's Health and Men's Fitness. And then they did an interview in the magazine and they said that it was chicken and broccoli 6 times a day and their whatever bodybuilding program, 4 sets of 10 reps, yada, yada, yada. So this has been going on. You said something interesting in there, which was they think their physique is influencing their business positively. In general, someone who is making fitness content who really looks incredible versus doesn't look as great, all else equal, the person who really looks incredible, has an incredible physique, is going to garner more attention, do better in business. A lot of the people who really have profited from their physique weren't doing any education, weren't really helping people, or maybe not a lot of. There's a subset of people who aren't educating, who look incredible, who are making a lot of money on their body, who are monetizing their body. I think that for those who educate and help first, that how you look has less of an effect on your bottom line compared to those who are just making like, oh, look how great I look type of content.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think it's a better long-term strategy to build your brand off your brain as opposed to your physique, but it's also harder. It's way more difficult. You got to spend way more time building up trust. It's more difficult to get attention. It's more difficult to build it off your education and your knowledge than the shock value of look how good I look.
It's also more sustaining. So harder to build, but doesn't crash as easily.
Yeah, agreed.
It's you also avoid the problem of the trap. Let's take a random guy who does massive amounts of steroids to get absolutely jacked. garners an audience of millions in a very short amount of time and is making a ton of money off his body, and then obviously runs into health issues because he was blasting tons of steroids for a period of time, has to stop taking them. He basically doesn't have a business.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Like when you're building your house on sand, it's going to collapse. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Anyway, just wanted to document my eyes opening to the insanely powerful benefits of a lot of these peptides.
Yeah. I like I told you on our call the other day, I tried to get into that, like I wanted to get more educated on them, so I started trying to dive into it, but I was just so not interested. It's like there's so many numbers and letters and this, and I'm like, all right, I'm just like not looking to get into that world right now in terms of, but yeah, just looking at the effects that it's had on people, the people who have been open and honest about it, it is pretty wild.
Yeah. Insane.
Agreed.
Okay. S tier to F tier. 20 glute building exercises.
Oh, let's go.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Barbell hip thrust. And precursor, we've done a couple of these episodes now that I think people like them. They're pretty fun and educational. This isn't like the most scientific ranking of all time. There's a lot of nostalgia. There's a lot of just like what Jordan and I prefer. There's a lot of evidence-based, science behind these decisions, obviously, but this isn't like a purely scientific approach.
And it goes S, A, B, C, D, E, F, right?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone knows my thoughts on the barbell hip thrust in terms of how much I just don't like it personally. At the same time, it's an S tier.
Wow.
It is an S tier. It is. It's my personal feelings for the obnoxiousness of this exercise and like how easy it is to, how much time it takes to set up, how uncomfortable it can be, All that aside, it is still a S tier glute building exercise. You can't, I take all of my personal feelings for it aside. You can't argue against it. It's a phenomenal glute building exercise.
I agree. I don't even have anything to add. S tier. I was not expecting that to start. That's a real way to be objective right there.
Yeah, it's the truth. And I will say now they have so many machines that do they have machine hip thrusts, which are basically the same thing. It's much more convenient. It's just there's no argument. It's a great exercise for building your glutes.
RDLs.
Oh man, I'm gonna put RDL. I'm shifting between A and S. I'm just gonna say A. I have to be very judicious with S tier, so I'm just gonna say it's an A.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have the benefit of seeing the rest of the list, but with barbell hip thrusts in S tier, RDLs are clearly at least half a step below the hip thrust. So A tier, great movement, glute builder. You get some isometric loading of the low back. You get great hamstring work, obviously, and phenomenal exercise.
And any one of my clients, Inner Circle members, I'm sure your clients as well, they know I'm programming. I almost never program barbell hip thrusts. I almost always program Romanian deadlifts. I think if in overall RDLs are a better exercise in general, but again, if it's just glutes, the hip thrust wins.
Yeah, that's a good caveat. And easier, you can just grab a set of dumbbells. You can grab a single dumbbell, do some single leg, barbell.
Athleticism overall, in general, RDL wins, but for just glutes.
This is the glute building list.
Yeah.
Bulgarian split squat.
Oof. I'm going A again.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an A. It's amazing exercise. I think it's an A. It's just because they're more. It's not just glutes anymore. There's so many other things involved. It's an amazing exercise. It's an A for glutes.
Yeah, there's a weird bias towards posterior chain movements where you're not getting any or very little quad activation, like mentally being like, that's an incredible glute exercise. But anytime you throw some knee flexion into the equation, it's like, oh no, if we're targeting the quads too, like that's not as good of a glute exercise. It's like, no, like a lunge, a Bulgarian split squat, these a squat, are amazing glute exercises, even though they're also hitting the quads. And for someone who has very specific aesthetic goals and really wants to build their glutes and doesn't want to build their quads, sure, select more of the hip thrust RDL, like targeting the posterior chain specifically and less volume on the quads. But in general, you can pick these exercises and build phenomenal glutes while also getting good quad work in.
Yeah. And with the Bulgarian split squat, you could just bring your front foot out further, like make a longer stance.
Yep.
And that way you get less quad. You have that like much longer stance. You lean forward much more. You get a more forward lean. That way you'll end up getting less quad and more glute. Whereas you bring your front foot in more and stay more upright, your more quad's going to be involved. So you can manipulate it based on what you want.
Exactly. Making those modifications to target more glute. Number 4, step up.
C.
Say more.
I love the step up. I think it's a great exercise. I think it's awesome for so many things. And again, there are so many different types of step ups. You could do like a low box step up. You could do a higher box step up. You could do them with cables. You can do them goblets. You could do them so many different ways. For me, when I'm doing a step up, it's often less because it's a great glute exercise and more because I think it's great for, you've got the ankles, you've got knees, you've got hips, you've got overall athleticism. If someone was like, hey, I really, really, really want to build my glutes, I'm sure step ups might be in there at some point, but it wouldn't be like this is the primary driver of glute growth. This isn't in my top 10 glute growth exercises. It's more just like, it's a really good exercise that also hits your glutes. But if it's like, one of the main things is, if I'm going to use a step up specifically for glutes and like that's like the main purpose, I'm probably going to do some type of a step up where I'm supporting myself, holding on for that extra support. Because if you're not holding on for support, the balance is going to take away from the stability of the exercise. And that's one of my favorite parts about a step up is you have to balance. And that's where you get that ankle stability, knee stability, hip stability, athleticism involvement. So when I do step ups, I'm not having people hold on for support unless they need it. But if it's specifically for glute growth, I would have them hold on for support. So
but in that case, you just might not program it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a great exercise.
So many better options.
Probably I'd put C for glute. What about you?
Okay. I'm with you. I would layer in something relevant, the type of step up. If you're doing like a little bit higher lateral step up, and like you said, to get even more glute activation, holding on to something for support, or ability to potentially load it even heavier, hit the glutes harder, versus a forward step up on a lower box where you're going through a much smaller range of motion, you're targeting the quads more. Those are obviously different. I would say between B and C, and I guess at some point you do have to just rank these on a relative basis and say there's so many other good exercises. All right, C tier for step up. I'm with you. Number 5, glute bridge.
It weighted or
any variation, but yes, we can say all the way from what would probably be the best variation, which is a barbell loaded glute bridge.
Yep. Is it versus single leg or no? Single leg hip thrust type thing or no?
I put single leg hip thrust is later on the list.
Okay.
So glute bridge, single leg, banded glute bridges, barbell glute bridges, dumbbell glute bridges.
No. So I think the glute bridge in general, knowing that we have single leg later down, glute bridge, I'm going to put it honestly like as probably like a D.
Really?
Yeah, only because the amount of time that it takes to like sort of max that out within your before you've maxed out your ability to reach a very, very high level on that is so early on. Like I would 10 times out of 10 rather have people start doing the single leg hip thrust variations rather than going heavier just on a standard glute bridge, dumbbell glute bridge, banded glute bridge, barbell glute bridge.
Because you would simply program a barbell hip thrust instead?
Yeah, exactly. The range
Okay.
of motion is so small. The amount of time it's going to take, like, it doesn't take long to be doing 405 on a standard glute bridge. It doesn't take
Yeah.
long at all. So, like, it just in terms of, I will very quickly progress someone to a bigger range of motion or to a more difficult variation. It targets the glutes really, really well, but in terms of practicality within the overall program, you max it out within 8 weeks max of almost anybody being in the gym.
Yeah. The shorter range compared to the barbell hip thrust, the fact that you're going to be able to go heavier on a glute bridge than a barbell hip thrust. And so when we take Jordan's law into account, which is the number of plates you have to add on the bar and how annoying that is, probably knocks it down, having to go heavier and just have more of that inconvenience. I like the feeling of a barbell glute bridge, and like you kind of alluded to, it does target the glutes really well.
Yep.
I think in the EMG stuff, at least, this was maybe 2022 was 4 years ago. How crazy is that?
It's crazy.
It's like unbelievable. I remember it was like maybe Glute Max EMG on the barbell glute bridge was actually bigger than on the barbell hip thrust, which was surprising because the theory was the bigger range of motion and like bigger glute stretch would lead to the hip thrust getting more. I'm going to say B tier for the barbell glute bridge.
Okay.
And then all the way down to like, a banded glute bridge for hypertrophy would probably be like E or maybe even worse, body weight glute bridge, great activation. You want to throw it in a warm up, amazing.
Warm up's awesome. Yeah.
But in terms of like actually getting real strength or muscle building work in for anyone who's like trained more than a day in their life, it's not incredible.
Yeah.
Walking lunge.
Oof. That's a real good one. I'll put that at A.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm putting that at A. It's such a great exercise. It's yeah. I mean, I put that right there with the Bulgarian split squat. It's amazing. Again, my brain always goes outside of just the glute stuff and more towards like how it applies to everyday life, function, whatever.
Factor that in a little bit.
One of my favorite parts about a walking lunge is it teaches deceleration. Like you're really forced to learn how to absorb that force, and I think it's amazing for strengthening your knees. It's amazing for overall athleticism and performance. And man, like I think the soreness that I get from a walking lunge is pretty wild, systemically. So yeah, I'm putting that in an A tier.
I'm with you. A tier. Cable kickback.
S tier. Cable kickback. I'm going S tier. A cable kickback done properly is an S tier glute building, glute focused exercise. I wouldn't put this for like an athleticism. I wouldn't put this for overall like movement performance. But when you do it properly for your glutes, it is an S tier glute building exercise for sure.
Yeah. Got that constant tension. You're getting hitting really all parts of the glute. The stability from grabbing onto the rack and like getting yourself in a good athletic stance. Yeah.
You can get a nice big stretch in that line of pull. Like it's
S tier.
Yeah.
We're going to make this one the conventional deadlift.
C tier. It's a great exercise. I love a good conventional deadlift. Personally, at this point in my life, I'm mainly only doing conventional RDLs, not doing conventional from the conventional from the floor. Just like not worth it for potential lower back.
And you always preferred pulling sumo.
Yeah, I've always preferred pulling sumo. It's really good. It hits your glutes, but like I'm rather if the goal is glutes, I'm rather doing an RDL than a from the floor deadlift, especially conventional. So there's just so many. It's the technicality of it, like how much form is required to do it properly, to load it properly and safely. I'm putting it at a C tier for glute specifically.
Unbelievable exercise. I agree with what you outlined there. Many, many benefits. Another thing to consider is the systemic fatigue it's going to have on you, and in relation to the amount of like glute work you're actually getting in, right? Your entire central nervous system's fried from heavy deadlifts. You're hitting your entire posterior chain from your traps all the way down. And I'll go B, but again, mostly because of like nostalgia / I think it's a great overall exercise, not because it's the greatest for targeting and building glutes.
Yeah.
Sumo deadlift.
This one's probably going to be a little bit controversial. I'm put this at B tier. I'm putting this above conventional.
Okay.
I love the sumo deadlift. And I know a lot of people are like, no, sumo doesn't hit the glutes as well. I think it does. It's whenever people tell me that sumo doesn't build your glutes, I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? It absolutely does. I think it's so much safer for your lower back that it allows you to load your glutes much, much better. I'm again, like, for the same reasons that conventional isn't S or A, I'm putting that same reason, like, this isn't S or A, because there are so many other things involved: grip, back, technical ability, blah, blah, blah. But I do think it actually has the potential to hit your glutes better, in my opinion, than a conventional from the floor. I would rather a sumo RDL than a sumo from the floor if it's just glutes. But like, I do think a sumo from the floor, I think, is better than conventional from the floor for your glutes.
For any like hardcore power lifters or even just enthusiasts who might be listening, it's also important to note that Jordan's sumo stance, and the one that I've seen you talk about for like Gen Pop, isn't this crazy, like, you know, where your toes are almost touching the plates.
Correct.
And you're super flared out and getting this like massively quad dominant, adductor dominant position. It's much more of like a neutral-ish stance where you're still gripping between your legs, but
yeah, it's like a squat stance. It's like a squat stance with your hands inside. Yeah.
Yes. And I would imagine, without having the data in front of me, that you're getting more glute activation in that position than you are, because the wider your legs are, you're probably getting an even more vertical torso. You're definitely getting an even more vertical torso. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to go C instead of B. I could never sumo deadlift. I'm bringing a lot of like personal bias into this one, but with the caveat that I think you can really change the amount of glute work you're getting here based on your technique and your position.
Yeah, agreed.
Barbell back squat.
I'm going A.
Nice.
I think it's an A tier glute exercise, and A tier I think it's an S tier exercise overall. A tier glute exercise. I know it's been super popular in recent years to shit on barbell back squats, but it's just such a great exercise.
Would you differentiate between a high bar and a low bar on this list?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. You know, that's actually a really interesting point. I think they're both great, but I would prefer most people err towards a moderate to high bar as opposed to a lower bar. I think the lower bar most people end up doing more of a good morning. Yeah, I just think that for a moderate to a higher bar, you're going to get a better overall squat. I think you're going to end up, your technique is going to be better overall. I think when people go too low, dude, I just saw a horrible video. I was thinking about making a video about it. I saw a video, this woman was going super, super low bar, and she ripped her shoulder. like during the squat, because people put it super low bar. They put so much weight onto their shoulders that she like literally ripped her shoulder out of her socket while she was squatting. And that's one of the issues with low bar is like they try and take advantage of this the leverage so much that they end up focusing on they put too much stress on other areas that shouldn't be stressed. The bar resting on your back, that's really what it should be. It should just be a resting place for the bar. You shouldn't be taking that stress into your wrists, shouldn't be taking it into your shoulders. It should be, and based on your own anthropometry, your own body proportions, slightly higher or lower bar can be beneficial. But I think when people go so low to try and optimize their squat numbers, they actually end up missing out on the other benefits of the squat. I think going too low bar, they end up sending their hips way too far back. They don't get any quad whatsoever. And I think that getting a little bit of quads can actually help you get more glutes involved too. So moderate to higher bar is probably going to be better.
I like it. I'm going objectively A tier, not letting my personal bias, because when I think about having Bulgarian split squats or walking lunges in A tier here, my bias wants to put a barbell back squat into B tier for me personally, because the enjoyment factor, like barbell back squats are really hard. The personal injury risk factor. When I say injury, I mean just wear and tear stuff, like single leg lower body work, heavy, feels so much better for me personally than, just having compressed spine and going heavy low rep on a barbell back squat. But I will set that aside and say that this is an A tier movement for building glutes.
Yeah, that's fair.
And personal preference on high bar versus low bar. Like I really would rather someone do what feels best for them than like someone who can squat, has a really nice higher bar squat, but they're thinking, oh, but I want to target more glutes. And then they intentionally move the bar 3-4 inches further down on their back and put themselves in a position that, whether it's injury risk or just not feeling as good during doing the movement in an effort to get more glutes. Again, we have so many ways to target the glutes super safely and effectively. There's no reason to like modify a squat just to hit your glutes.
Yeah, agreed.
A banded clamshell.
Oh man.
I'm starting F. This is an F tier move. Just such an inability to load it.
Yeah.
Combined with anything banded, which has the, inconsistent resistance profile over the course of a rep, when your glute is in the most stretched position of a clamshell, which isn't even really that stretched, but is when you're just laying there, you have no tension. And then the more you flex your glute and go through the range, the harder the move gets, which inherently makes it a little bit worse. There are many, this is obviously an exercise where you're targeting more glute med than glute max. And there are other and better ways to do that, whether we look at a hip abduction machine or some kind of, cable abduction or sideline leg raise or whatever it is. And F tier's empty, and we just got to get something in there. Maybe it's E, but I'm sticking with F.
I was trying to find a variation of a clamshell I was doing recently because I agree, like the side-lying banded clamshell, I agree. I think it can be a good teaching tool. Very sort of like a standard glute bridge. Like a standard glute bridge can be a good teaching tool. I think a standard sideline clamshell, banded clamshell can be a really good teaching tool. But I would probably put it lower than the standard glute bridge. So I'll go with F as well. But I would say that just as with like there are different variations, I think other variations of the clamshell can be really, really good. So man, where is this one? I want to see if I can't find it in the next 30 seconds, then I'll skip it. But there are other variations of the clamshell that I think are really, really great, that I would actually put more towards like A tier.
For overall or for glute, like for strength and muscle as well? Oh, interesting.
For glute specifically, man, I don't know where this video is, but it's actually so instead of it being, with the side lying banded, it's the top leg that's moving.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's the opposite. So instead of it's the top leg that's moving, it's actually the bottom leg that's creating the
So
movement.
you're moving like your whole body weight.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and
you can so you can load it.
Yes, you can load it. You
Great.
can put even more weight on top of it.
Skyrockets up the list.
Yeah, exactly. So that top one moving, I think you're right. It's like D or F, whereas when the bottom one is moving it and you can load it progressively to infinity, then it becomes more like A tier.
Donkey kick / fire hydrant.
Man, donkey kick is like, would you say it's on all fours? Like,
yeah, let's just make this like the least charitable and say these are both body weight, like
F.
on all fours. Yeah.
Yeah. F. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Might have a place in a warm up or as a teaching tool.
Maybe in a physical therapy spot, but not for like a maximizing glute growth.
Correct. Lateral band walk / monster walk.
Man, 2011 Jordan would lose his shit right now. I'm putting that in an F. F tier again. Like maybe a good warm up drill, but not as a optimizing glute growth whatsoever.
Yeah. Glute med activation, cool.
Yeah.
Teaching, warm up, great.
You know what's tricky about these types of drills is you can really feel the burn. And that's what fucks with people. They're like, I really feel it though. It's like, I know you feel it, but just because you feel it doesn't mean that you're getting the stimulus you need for it to grow. Mm-hmm. That burn that you feel in the muscle, that sensation doesn't equate to growth. Mm-hmm. And that's where I feel like a lot of people get confused.
Abduction machine.
Oh.
Also known as the bad girl machine. I know we maybe gotten some negative feedback in the past about could be considered a misogynistic term, the bad girl. You know what? Why don't we take a minute here? Just a quick minute and just... So calling the hip abduction machine, historically going back to the early 2000s, in my memory, was called bad girl because you're forcing your legs open. And so there's an implied joke there that if a girl was to force her legs open, that's like associated with promiscuity, which would be considered quote unquote bad. However, in an effort to shed my true beliefs, and I'm even going to lump Jordan in there with me, even though he might not fully agree on this podcast, True Beliefs, I'm okay with renaming the barbell hip thrust the bad boy. Because high levels of promiscuity, which I do think are bad, I don't think, meaning I think they're bad for the individual engaging in them. I'm not like, it's not a judgment. I think it's bad for the individual engaging in them. High levels of promiscuity is also bad for men. Agreed. So I think that there are negative consequences for anyone. And so just to like take the misogynistic accusation head on, which I fully disagree with, I believe that you can call the barbell hip thrust the bad boy. Because for the guy who's running around trying to get his notch count up and get 100 bodies and da-da-da-da-da and doing all that stuff is terrible for you. If you're the dude in your teens or in your 20s or whatever, go find a nice wife. Go find a good girl. Date to marry. Don't be going to the club doing the jaw-breaking thing and then trying to like, just hook up and get all your one-night stands in. It's not good for your soul, I promise.
Agreed. All right, so barbell hip thrust is the bad boy machine.
Yes.
A bad boy exercise.
Bad boy. But for glutes, hip abduction, bad girl.
Man, I think that's I'm oscillating between A and S. Mm-hmm. I'm oscillating between A and S. I'm gonna sit on A. I just don't think it's like, I don't think it deserves the S tier, but like it's an A tier glute focused. You can overload it to infinity, and I really think it can add some slabs to your rear end. So yeah,
get those rear end slabs. The reason I would say it's not S is, and I could be wrong on this, it seems like there can't be as much glute max engagement as there is on something like barbell hip thrust.
Yeah, agreed.
You're getting the abduction, you're getting some external rotation, even though ChatGPT version, whatever, a few versions ago, we argued with on this because it said you weren't, but you definitely are. You're hitting the glute med. Great move. Like you said, you can load it. You're very stable. A tier.
Yeah.
Cable pull through.
Oof. I really do love the cable pull through. I think the biggest issue with the cable pull through is it's really very difficult for people to learn it. Even coaching people in person, it can take a long time for people to really get comfortable with it from the technical side of it. I'll put it at a B. I'll put it at a B just because it can. I almost similar, obviously completely different movement overall, different muscles targeted, obviously, but almost like a pullover, like a dumbbell pullover. It takes a long time for people to learn it. And I know a lot of people, when they're first learning it, they're like, I don't feel like it's working the right muscles. I'm like feeling I'm off balance, and they're not feeling it. Once you get it, I think it's a great exercise, but it's very difficult for people to actually get it. So just because the learning curve is so high, whereas for example, like the learning curve on a barbell hip thrust is so low. The learning curve on a seated abduction is so low, whereas the learning curve on the cable pull through is pretty high. So that's why I'm going to put it at a B.
That's a good reason. I like that. I like these. They feel really good. All right. I think B is a good place for it. I'm thinking of a number of clients over the years who have been unable to load it as heavy as they potentially could handle because of the grip discomfort.
Yeah.
So I think that probably knocks it down a peg too.
Yeah,
agreed. I think B tiers or increases it a peg, similar to the underhand grip barbell curl, where you got a little discomfort. It's like, but when you see someone doing it, it's like they don't care about the discomfort. Like it's a basement garage gym heavy metal type of.
Agreed.
B tier. Reverse lunge.
A tier.
Yeah. I don't even think, with Bulgarian split squat, walking lunge, also A tier.
To make it even better, I do like slightly elevated, like a deficit reverse lunge. That'll just make it even slightly better.
Get that extra range. You also have that mobility though.
Yeah.
If you program a deficit reverse lunge for one of your clients, just be sure to give instruction on how big you want the deficit to be and maybe give them a recommendation for what to do. You don't want someone like standing on a flat bench doing a reverse lunge. Right.
Basically a reverse step up is essentially what they'd be doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning.
Ooh, dude, I love good mornings, but I don't do them for my glutes.
Yeah.
I love good mornings. I rarely program good mornings, almost never in the inner circle for clients. I love them for your lower back and upper back. That's why I do them. So for glutes specifically, I'm putting good mornings at D.
I think that's right. I think I would even rank them higher for hamstrings than I would for glutes.
Agreed. Yeah. Amazing exercise, but not for glutes.
Yeah. Yeah. You're getting a lot of good isometric back work.
Yeah.
And you're getting a solid amount of hamstring work too. I think D tier is the right place on the glute list though. Single leg deadlift. I don't even really like that this is on the list. I think we put single leg RDL in with RDLs in general, so I don't even think we're not even doing that one. Frog pump, which I think is like, I actually don't know for sure. Is this laying on your back with your feet together and you're doing like a glute bridge with your knees splayed out, or is this where you're?
Yeah, it's like a glute bridge, but it's like a glute bridge with your feet flat against each other.
All right. And so if you want to load it, you would just like put a dumbbell on your pelvic bone, or like,
I don't know.
You're not a frog pump guy?
I put this in the same place as I would a glute bridge.
Yeah.
It's just a glute bridge with your feet in a different position. Maybe even worse, just because you don't have the stability with your feet flat on the ground.
Yeah.
I'd rather have someone just do a standard glute bridge and load it, or go to a barbell hip thrust than that.
And people probably feel this more because you are like baking in some external hip rotation,
Yeah.
which might lead to them liking it more. Because I feel like I saw this more in the 2018 to 2020 time frame.
Yeah, that's a good point.
D, is that where we put it?
Yeah, putting it D.
I think that's fair. 2 more. Single leg hip thrust.
S tier.
Ooh.
S tier. There's another exercise. I don't have the list. So there's one more exercise that you haven't said. I don't know if it's on the list yet.
Uh-oh. I only have
So
one
we'll
more.
see. But single leg hip thrust is just S tier for your glutes. It's S tier in general, an amazing exercise. Anytime someone tells me, "Oh, these feel too easy," I know you're doing it wrong. It's a devastating exercise. There are so many different variations of it. It targets your glutes unbelievably well. You can load it in so many different ways, and most people often don't even need to load it just because they're so weak with that movement in general. It's an amazing exercise. Single leg hip thrust S tier.
Can you talk about some of the ways to load it?
So I mean, number one, you could use a dumbbell if you wanted to, but first, before you even actually add external load, you could do a pause. You could do 1.5 reps. You could do constant tension reps. You could do an isometric hold at the top. You could do slow eccentrics. You could also elevate your foot as well, so you get an even bigger range of motion if you wanted to. So those are all amazing. From there, you could use a dumbbell. You could use a weight. I like doing put a sandbag on your hip. That's awesome. Sandbag is great because it's comfortable on your hip and you can get some real load on top of it. Also, if you have chains are amazing as well. Chains are great because they are it's lighter at the bottom and it gets heavier as you get higher up. So as you get towards that terminal end range, the chains get the heaviest. It's amazing.
Man, I did not have this in S tier, but you're kind of pitching me on it being an S tier exercise. The reason that I mentally want to put it, by the way, I program this like crazy. I do this myself. I love this exercise. The reason want to put it below a barbell hip thrust isn't even about load. It's more about the increased stability of, and I don't even know if this is like scientific or if this is purely me anecdotal, but my perceived stability on a barbell hip thrust versus a single leg hip thrust.
Yeah, I mean, stability for sure. You feel more stable with 2 feet on the ground, no question.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's almost like a different kind of slightly reduced stability because there are other single leg movements. I guess a Bulgarian split squat, you have 2 feet planted on something.
Single leg RDL now, though.
Yeah, single leg RDL, you don't. I'm going to go A tier just because it feels less than a barbell hip thrust.
That's fair.
All right, last one. Sideline or standing cable hip abduction.
Man, I'm going to have to, I'll do this one, but I'm going to add one
after this.
I'm shocked that this one isn't on the list.
Well, you can thank Grok for that.
Side-lying, or what is it?
Sideline, basically a hip abduction.
Oh, okay.
Whether it's sideline, and we could say ankle weight, etc., or standing hip abduction with a ankle cuff and a cable.
You're going to be shocked. I'm saying S tier.
Wow.
Dude, it's a devastating drill.
What? Wait, why am I? You think I don't like this move?
Not that you don't like it, but I think you probably didn't expect me to put it at S tier.
Yeah, that's right.
It's funny. I have actually recently started incorporating these a lot more into my splits training.
What, like strengthen the opposite of?
Yeah, to strengthen my ability to pull my legs further apart. And the glute soreness that I get from it, and I noticed I had a pretty significant strength deficit in that end range, and it's just, even just with my own personal experience with this drill, it's been pretty eye-opening to me. And I've always thought it was a good drill. Probably before I started doing this one more frequently, I probably would have put it at A tier, but just I'm putting it at S tier. It's directly targets in the same way that I would say the seated abduction machine. It's the same type of a thing, just with your legs straight as opposed to bent. And yeah, I think it's an S tier glute specific drill.
It's interesting. I'm realizing a bias where in my mind, if the glute max isn't the prime mover, for some reason, I don't want to put it in S tier. But then part of me is like, but on a glute max primary exercise, like barbell hip thrust, why am I okay with having less glute med or glute min activation relative to other moves? It's like, because it's a bigger part of the glute? I don't know. But in my gut, I want to put this in A tier, even though I love it, because you're not getting as much glute max. But then we can also factor in the fact that most people know a barbell hip thrust is a really good exercise. Whereas definitely less people know that this is a good glute exercise. I'm going to give it the S tier.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm a fan. We talked about this on the pod a while back. Like, you can do ankle weights. I found a way to like get a kettlebell on my foot and was doing them that way, doing them on a bench and getting a little bit of extra stretch on the glute, because compared to doing it on the ground, you can let your leg like go past the midline of your body, the bottom of each rep. Cable, like you can, the thing I don't like about the cable move, shouldn't even say don't like. If you're doing these with a cable, I would definitely rest in between legs, because your non-working leg is getting a real isometric load from
it is
like exhausting.
Shockingly.
Yeah. S tier. We got that hip abduction in S tier. Great.
Dude, one more exercise that Grok didn't think of. 45-degree hyperextension.
Yeah, dude, literally when I said frog pump, part of me thought that this was like a hyperextension or reverse hyper.
Interesting.
And I was like, yeah, because we were nearing the end of the list and I couldn't believe we hadn't hit it.
S tier. Yeah. I mean, there are so many different ways to do it as well. Like there are ways to do it that actually don't target the glutes, that are more like thoracic focused. But like if it's or even lumbar focused as well. Yeah. But like if you target it for your glutes, that's an S tier glute exercise.
When you say 45-degree, got it. So like on the machine.
Yeah. Like I would rather that over a cable pull through, because that's much easier for people to figure out. It's basically the same exercise.
Wait, I'm sorry. Now I've confused myself. Are we doing like the back extension?
Yeah.
Got it. But doing it as it's designed. We're not like turning ourselves around on it and doing a reverse. Okay, well, reverse hyper should probably be on this list too.
Agreed.
Okay, but got it. Glute extension. To targeting the glute, and you can bias the glute. You get a little rounded like upper back, even a little rounded low back.
Yep.
You're not getting your upper body super high in the air, because the end of each rep is hip extension.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's S tier.
That's S tier for sure.
Come on, Grok.
Yeah, that's S tier for sure. And like I was just saying, I think that cable pull-through has the potential to be there, but the technical side of it just makes it difficult. The grip, as you said, makes it more difficult. It's basically the same. Even if you're doing a cable pull-through properly, you're going to be leaning forward at that like 45-degree angle almost in that same way you are in the 45-degree extension. So and often at the top of a cable pull-through, your upper back is rounded in that same way. So
this is, I can't believe it wasn't on there. It's a great exercise. Should we put reverse hyper on here too?
Yeah, reverse hyper. It's funny, for the reverse hyper, I'm going to put that at B tier, only because, it does target the glutes really well, but like I'm never really doing reverse hypers for glutes. I'm doing it to really feel that traction on the spine. And in order to do that, your glutes come into play, but it's more like a lower back drill for me. I'm never really like, hey, let's go do the reverse hyper for your glutes. You will work your glutes when you do it, but like it's not for your glutes.
Yeah. I think B tier is a good spot for that one. That's why I was actually slightly confused. What did you call because I know that I call the You called it the 45-degree
hyperextension, I think is what I called it.
Yeah,
but
okay.
that's not what it actually is. It's
I call
that's
it the
just
wrong.
the name.
I just call it the back extension machine,
Yeah.
which I don't think is right either. But I got confused there. Yeah, easy to load the back extension, because then you said easy to load, and I was like, yeah, if you have a reverse hyper machine, it's easy to load. But if you don't, and you're doing some makeshift.
Oh no, you can't. If you don't have the reverse hyper machine, then you can't. You can, but it's very difficult to load it. There are ways you can do it with bands, but even then, it's really obnoxious and difficult.
Good, brother. Good list. Good episode.
Yeah, I like that. That was good.
I hope you don't end up getting sick or too sick.
Thanks, brother.
Good luck. We got anything else?
That's it. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
5-star review, please. We were, sick and out last week. We're banging out the fitness content. If you enjoy this episode, if we've ever done anything useful for you, we know it takes a few minutes, but please take 5 minutes, leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening, or thumbs up YouTube. We appreciate you. 2026. Let's get after it.
See ya.